Hey guys, let me give you some time to join those who will be joining today. I'm excited this evening because I have a personal driver, so I don't need to be driving. I know yesterday we launched Teachers Lounge, and I had to be driving and talking, but today I have my own personal driver taking me home. So I do not need to be focusing on the road. I can focus on the screen. I'm excited for that. Thank you very much, Shaniqua, my personal driver. So guys, well, not my personal driver. I'm sorry. It's just my daughter taking me home. Not me getting all excited that I have a personal driver. But yes, I'm excited that this evening, my second day of Teachers Launch Chit-Chat on teaching in the USA, I don't need to be focusing on the road too much. I'm still looking. Not that I don't feel safe with her, but I can get into more the comments and read the comments and respond. So she came by my workplace and we're going home, and I'm like, you're driving, right? Because I have my live coming up at 3:20. I know I joined a little late, but I did tell my viewers yesterday, if I'm a little late, just be on the lookout. I will be here to talk today on episode 2, which is going to be, hey, Mr. Gilhari, episode 2, which is going to be on um, classroom dynamics. Classroom dynamics. That's what we're going to be talking about today, guys. So for those who joined already, thanks for joining. We will be talking about the classroom dynamics, and not just here in the United States, but also back home, wherever you are, what the classroom dynamics look like, what it is, and how is it that you ensure that you are getting what you need from your classroom and your students are getting what they need from you academically and socially. As a teacher, it's not all about academics. We are lawyers, we are doctors, we're counselors, we're about everything for the couple hours they're at school with us, which is 5 days a week. They spend so many hours at school with us, and so we want to make sure that we are catering to these small kids' needs. For those who did not join yesterday was episode 1 of Teachers Launch Chit-Chat on Teaching in the USA, and we talked yesterday about my personal journey and teaching experience. Those who did not get to get some more information on me, you can look on that one after we're finished with this live, so you can learn about my teaching journey starting back home from Jamaica and how I transitioned here in the United States. But today we're going to be talking about classroom dynamics. But what is classroom dynamics? It's basically how we interact within the classroom with each other. Interactions with parents, with the students, with the teachers, how students how the peers interact with each other, how the teacher interacts with the students. Basically, those are the things we're going to talk about today when we talk about classroom dynamics. I want to talk about some of the physical aspects, though, of the classroom dynamics. I know back home in Jamaica, it is different. The classroom, the physical structure of our classrooms are different. We do not have classrooms that are closed right throughout the day where AC's on and everybody's cool and things going on like that. No, we have open doors, or we have buildings with fancy blocks where fresh air can come inside the classroom. You might have a grill or a gate on the door, and the furnitures might be different also. While compared to the United States, it is the expectation all classroom doors are closed. You have air conditioning. It's cooler in the classroom. It's more conducive to their culture, as it's very important wherever you go in the United States currently. If you're a teacher, I'm sure one of your safety procedures is going to be that your classroom door is locked every single minute of the day. So if you're in your classroom in the United States, and I'm speaking for most districts, and especially the ones I've worked in, if somebody is to come in the hallway and open your door and they just easily open and get in, that's definitely a red flag because your door should be locked. Nobody should be able to just open from the outside and come in unless it's an administrator or a custodian worker or another teacher who has a key for your classroom. But because of safety reasons that we all know about we all know about mass shooting and stuff in the United States, it is a requirement for your classroom doors to stay locked at all times. So it's a little different here in the United States compared to back in Jamaica. I'm not sure about in the Caribbean countries. For those who are watching, if you're in the Caribbean country, you might can say in the comment section what it is like. Are you expected to have your classroom doors open or closed, or is it that your classrooms are built to stay open because it might be really hot in your area? But we're talking about the dynamics of the classroom. We're going to talk on 5 important aspects today. We're going to be talking about intentional instruction. We're also talking about consistency, the power of relationship, classroom meetings, and the 60-second transition. So those are the things we're going to be talking today about on Teachers Launch Chit-Chat on teaching in the United States. We're going to start off with the first one, which is intentional instruction. I don't know how many teachers are aware that if your lesson or your instruction is meaningful, it's intentional, it's purposeful, it is going to reach more students than you expect. Because too often our students, they come to school, they really don't want to hear what we have to say. They're sent to school. Sometimes they don't even know the reasons they're sent there. And so they don't want to be in this space. But you want to make it that they want to be in the space. And so one way of doing that is making your lessons intentional. Intentional instructions. For example, you are going to be teaching a lesson on verbs. You want to let the students, what is it they're going to be learning, and that's where our I can statement comes in. You want the students to know what they're going to be learning, and maybe also why they're going to be learning and how can they use this that you're going to be learning in their daily life. You want to make sure you make that connection with their daily lives. So intentional instruction, you have your I can statement. You're letting them know at the end of this lesson, this is what I want you to be able to do. I'm not sure how many of us do share this with our students before we even go into the lesson. Okay, so that's one way of doing it. Guys, today we're going to be learning about verbs. At the end of this lesson, I want you to be able to identify some verbs and also maybe use these verbs in sentences or identify verbs in some sentences I will be giving you. At the end of the lesson, if you have achieved or obtained these objectives, you will be rewarded, and I will be asking to see who understood what the objective was today. Right there in the beginning, they know what they're going to be learning about verbs. If somebody walks in, that's very important here in the United States also. If you're teaching in the United States and an administrator walks in your room, you might see that they walk over to a student. They're going to ask the student, what is it you're learning today? It is expected that the student know what they're learning. One way for your student to know what they're learning is by telling them in the beginning the I can statement, the objective of the lesson. So if the administrator walk over to me, I will say, oh, we're learning about verbs, and we're going to be using verbs in sentences. Even if I can say that, that's acceptable. Or if I say, oh, I'm learning about verbs, the student know what the lesson is about. So that's one way of making it intentional. You want to also link whatever you're teaching to real life scenarios. Okay, so I want you to stand up and I want you to do an activity for me that you do every day when you go home, or an activity you do every morning before you come to school. and they might stand and they might show you the action of brushing their hair or putting their clothes on, and then you're going to tie that into the lesson. You're actually doing a verb, an action word. Okay, so brushing your hair, action. Make it intentional, make it where the students can relate to it whenever they're outside of the classroom, and it's not just in the classroom. They are learning about verbs and they don't know the purpose of verbs outside of the classroom. They cannot connect it to something else. All right, so the next thing we're going to talk about now is consistency. For those who watched my live yesterday, and I spoke about my journey and my experience here in the United States, I did talk about changes. There's a lot of changes um, in school districts. Sometimes when they change the different programs, they want to change different strategies. And so sometimes as teachers, you are changing also. But for our students, you want to stay consistent so that they can follow along in what is it that you're teaching. Consistent in not only your lesson, but also consistent in the procedures and also the daily schedule. So for example, the students know that every morning when they come in, they need to first get their materials, put them in their decks, pack away their bags, and get ready for the morning work. You want to make sure that is something that they're practicing every single morning when they come in. They're following those same steps, because once you stop doing it or once it starts swaying, then they become confused. They don't know what to do, and then that's going to make it harder for you to control your classroom and manage the different behaviors. So you want to be consistent with your rules, consistent with your procedures, consistent with the different things that your class or students are doing every day, so they can follow along. So consistency is key. All right, so we're moving along. We did say we're talking about 5 areas for classroom dynamics. We talk about intentional instruction, consistency, and now we're going to talk about the power of relationship. And we all know how important it is for us to build positive relationships with our students and parents. So how can we build these positive relationships with our students and parents? We want to make sure we are getting to know our students as soon as they come in, is whether it's September or August, whenever it is your school district starts. So for example, if your school starts in August, you want to start building that relationship with your students right there. You want to find out what is it they like, things they don't like. You want to find out from them how is it that they learn, because they can tell you how is it they learn. You want to take notes of those so that when you are planning your lessons, you are incorporating these different learning styles sorry about that. You want to make sure you're incorporating the different learning styles in your lessons, and making sure you're building that relationship where students feel comfortable and are able to come and ask questions or find out from you what is it that they should be working on, and not feel shy to speak with you as basically the parent for them while they're at school. You want to also build a relationship with your parents. The parents are the first teachers. They know how their students learn. They know what makes them, more motivated and what drives them. So if you are communicating with the parents, then you can also learn about your students. And if you have a good relationship with the parents, then the parents in turn will talk to the child in a positive way about you, and will ensure that the student is doing what he or she needs to do when that child comes to school. So building the relationship is not just for it's not just for your students, but also with the parents. You want to build that positive relationship so that the entire system, because it's not just the teacher and student, it's home, school, and parents, teachers, and students working together for the common good. So once that relationship is there, then it's going to make your work easier. Okay, I see Joel saying thanks for that consistency in schedule and procedure. Yes, you definitely need consistency in whatever it is you're doing, so the students can know exactly what to do next each step of the day. Or else you're going to find people coming to ask, what am I supposed to be doing? What are we going to do next? But if they know exactly what they're doing every step of the way, it's easier for them to follow. Not that they're not going to ask if you're doing the same thing every day, but then over time they get used to it and they know what the expectations are. Huh? They follow the routine. Okay, yes. Yes, they know how to follow the routine. Good. So we talk about consistency, power of relationship. Relationship is a big factor. I know sometimes it is hard to get in contact or to reach out to the parents, and I know parents are busy and they cannot reach out to you as you would want them to. But as educators, we have to find some ways of communicating with them so that they can be aware of what's happening at school, and they can also be on par with you, working alongside you to get what needs to be done with the students. Okay, so the next thing is going to be class meetings. And I know some people might call it circle time, or um, there's other names for it, but you should have class meetings with your students. In that way, you're meeting with the students to find out what is it they're enjoying in class, what is it they're not enjoying so much, and what are some of the things they would like to see happening in class. Because remember, they also have to be in this classroom, so they should be able to contribute to what's happening. And you are going to see how best you can incorporate some of the things that they would like to see in class. Like, the kids like playing with a particular toy, or they want to bring their toy to school and do show and tell. I'm not saying you're going to do that every day, but you're going to find a way how you're going to incorporate them taking a toy to school to maybe do show and tell. And I'm sure there's going to be some objectives or standards that can fall under, that the students can take their toys or whatever special thing they want to come and share with the classroom and do show and tell. And I'm sure those lessons where they have an input and they are allowed to take in things that they want to share, they're going to remember everything that was taught in that lesson. So we want to have meetings with them to find out more about them, basically allowing them to give feedback. Because especially for the smaller ones, they might not be able to complete a survey. I know for the higher grades, they might be able to complete a survey to say, this is what I'm liking, this is what I'm not liking so much, this is what I like to see. But for the babies, they will not be able to do that. So having a small meeting in class and talking about it, they might be able to share that with you. What is it they like, and how you can incorporate fun things for them in the classroom while they're learning. Remember, it's not just academics. Yes, that's the main thing, but it can also be fun. All right, and then the last one we're looking at is the 60-second transition. As teachers, we know when we're transitioning from one thing to the next, it can be hard. And so you want to practice daily how we're going to transition from this area to that area, from this subject to that subject. What should it look like? What should it sound like? These all come together to make our classroom a friendly learning environment where everybody is adhering to the rules. Because if we're transitioning in chaos and in noise and people don't know what to do, and the teacher has to stop all the time to say do this, it's just taking away from the teaching time. So you want to get them to transition within 60 seconds, but it's going to take a lot of practice, on how we're going to get this done. So you might do it today. Say, okay, when it's time for us to move from our seats, we're not going to move all together as a group. we're going to, as a class, we're going to move as a group. For example, if your classroom has 4 groups, then you're going to say, okay, when it's time to transition, group 1 is going to move first. Once group 1 is out of their seat and standing in line, then group 2 you will follow and join behind group 1, and so forth and so on. And then what you're going to find, they're going to get used to it, knowing that when it's time for us to go to the next class, we are transitioning in this order, and we're doing it quickly, quietly, and in an order where it's not confusing. It doesn't have to be groups. It could be that you have fruits. I know when you put your groups, you would say in group 1, or you might give them the names of apples, fruits, whatever, however you do it. Or you might say, the students whose name starts with A, I need you to be on the front of the line. Move. Once your last name starts with A, you're going to come to the front of the line first. If your name starts with B, then you're going to come to the line after A. Whatever order, but you want to find some way how they're going to be transitioning in an orderly manner in 60 seconds. But it's going to take a lot of practice for them to get it. It's going to take a lot of practice. Just like the first 10 days of school, we have to practice the procedures on how to enter the classroom, how to leave the classroom, where to pack away your stuff, where to put your stuff that you're going to be needing. And you practice those every single day for the first 10 days of school. And then throughout the year, you continue to practice whenever you see that people are not remembering what they need to do. So the classroom dynamics plays a big role in ensuring that your classroom is orderly, ensuring that your students are, adapting to your classroom, and so that more of the time can be allotted to teaching and learning, and not you stopping to redirect the students to, why are you doing this or why are you doing that, and stuff like that. So that's it for me. If you did not like this video yet, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Also, if you have a question, you can put it in the comment section there. If you've not subscribed, this is the first time on this channel. I did not introduce myself. Let me do that. No, I'm sorry. I took it for granted that people on the live already knew who this person was. I am Dr. Stephanie Williams Britton, and I share on this platform with international teachers across the globe on teaching in the United States. So if you have any questions, it's now your time to put that in the comment section below. If you know somebody would like to learn more about teaching in the United States, feel free to share this link with them. Also subscribe and turn your notification bells on. I will be back again tomorrow, again with Teachers Launch, Chit-Chat on teaching in the United States with a different topic. Be on the lookout for the topic. It will be posted on Facebook and YouTube later this evening, and you will see what the topic is going to be about. So if there's no questions, I don't see any questions coming in. Have a great evening, guys, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.